All right. Welcome everyone back to the channel. Excited to have James with us today. And he's going to talk about a little bit his experience and his background and his brand Antidote merch. So maybe to start off with, for those who don't know you and know your brand, I just want to ask you about Antidote merch. Like how'd you come up with that name?
Yeah, so it really was a subsidiary of my music. So I used to do music where I was very heavily involved. I was an artist, recording artist that went by the name Antidote Music. And so later in life, I started my merch line to kind of go in line with the music. So to have something at shows to offer for sale, just slogans that went along with the songs that I had, and then it just became its own clothing line, which is where it is now, with 3 or 4 different logos and just a variety of different items that we drop throughout the year. So I kind of fall back from the music aspect as far as being an artist, a recording artist, just more so focus on the music. I'm sorry, focus more on the clothing,
Clothing.
not so much the music as I was before. So it's really just came from that. And antidote is, if you know what that word is, it's cure, it's healing.
Mm-hmm.
So really providing, whether it was with music or with the clothing, just providing some type of healing or some type of cure in the world where we know the world can get so crazy. So really just trying to provide something positive is really what it comes down to.
Okay. That's cool. So I see that you're wearing one of your outfits now from the brand.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
and uh, so this one says Jesus versus my sins. I've seen the other ones, listen to God. What was it like? What was the inspiration that you had, starting this? I guess because you have how many different slogans, or you said there's 4 different
As
ones?
of now, there's 3. We started
3.
with one that live forever. That was the first shirt I ever did,
Okay.
uh,
Live forever.
10 years ago. But more recently, it was listen to God, and then trust in God, and then Jesus versus my sins.
Okay.
But really, just different slogans or words to live by is kind of the theme. It's not
Okay.
necessarily just another, clothing line. There's so many clothing lines out there, so many merch lines. Everybody's doing hoodies and shirts, but I wanted to separate myself and also align with that positive message, like I mentioned. So being a Christian, obviously I'm inspired by scripture or just living the life of a Christian, trying to do what's right, trying to do that in my own life personally. So really just trying to put out that inspiration. So the first one that I came up with was listen to God, and it just came from the idea of whatever that means to you. It
Hmm.
kind of leaves it open for the person to interpret. But for me, it's definitely listening to what God, says, whether it's through the Bible or whether it's through things that I learn as I go through my life day to day. And listening to God is different than just listening to, whether it's music or we're listening to whatever the news is saying. It's greater. It's a higher a higher power, a higher purpose, right?
Hmm.
Um, so within the world that we live in, just how crazy it gets, there's a lot of noise. There's so much noise, as you know, even over the last couple of years. I mean, this was before the pandemic when we put the first shirt out that said "Listen to God." So it means much bigger to me today than it did then. But
Hmm.
ultimately, it was just forget about all the noise, forget about social media, forget about the news, just tune into God, and whatever that means for that individual. Um, and so that's where we started. Listen to God. And it's just a powerful statement, 3 words, but a very powerful statement. Just plastered on the front of the shirt. And it started there. And then as that progressed, it really picked up. People really liked that slogan.
Hmm.
Then it morphed into other ones like trust in God. Another 3 word, same type of font, basically same format as listen to God, but trust in God. Again, just the reminder of, things get crazy, life gets crazy. Let's put our trust in something that's more powerful than anything else that we think we're going through. Then lastly, more recently, is Jesus versus my sins, which is kind of a take on a shirt that's out there that started in Detroit that said Detroit versus everybody. And then different cities picked it up, Philadelphia versus everybody, or, fill in the blank, whatever city you're from versus everybody. So I just thought about that kind of same, look, but, reminding us that Jesus went against our sins, and so just powerful, short, words that really mean a lot to me.
Hmm.
um, that I think that the world needs to hear is really where it came from.
That's cool. I liked how you said, that you wanted to bring some positivity. And just like you mentioned, I mean, think whether it's United States or even globally, think about all the challenges, whether it's financially, like geopolitically, like kind of like on a macro level, even on a micro level, you think about like just within families, relationships breaking up and domestic violence and abusive children. I mean, there's so much, there's a lot of things that are negative, of course, and a lot of challenge in the world. And you want to bring something positive. So and then on this channel, you want to, one of the things I want to focus on is like things that I think it's important to think about, like you were sharing some of these things and how that helps us to grow individually. And ultimately, I think, in my opinion, also to contribute. Like it's not just about growing and taking care of yourself, but also be able to spread love and, all these wonderful characteristics of peace and kindness. And so, how would you share for yourself? Like, how is not just your brand, but just you mentioned that you're a Christian. I guess how has that helped you grow as a person?
Yeah, I mean, it changes with the day, as you know. Being a father, being a husband, family man, but also a man of God, just really allows me to grow. Every day is a growing experience. Every day, as they say, is a new experience. It's something new every day. Whether it's the type of work I do or with life and just how it comes from different angles. Also thinking about the past, things that I've been through. I think all of it just encompasses us growing. And whether it's a business or whether it's, family, trying to build a family up and train kids up in the right way,
Mm.
whatever it is just growth. And that's really what I attribute everything to, of growth and overcoming. Again, I mentioned the pandemic and just how things shifted. Everything changed in those moments, and we've learned to adapt in different ways. That's all growth. I mean, if we just stay in the same place, whether it's in life or whatever it is that we're doing, then where's the value? And I see tremendous value in growth. Maybe just learning over the years that I've kind of become a guy that's more glass half full, type of mentality.
Mhm.
So even in tough situations, I know there's always going to be a way out. And my faith helps me with that. Obviously, it helps me in that type of thinking versus going towards the negative thoughts that
Mm.
may come. But it's just growth. You know what I mean? I think overall, just continuing to learn, continuing to know to adapt, regardless of how old you are. I think there's always something to learn. And I just want to, for me personally, I want to be that type of individual. And so I try to put that in everything that I do, whether it was music or whether it's now, helping an artist and managing an artist, or whether it's the clothing line or just being a dad, just definitely want to grow and help others around me grow.
That's awesome. Have you ever encountered people who may either be kind of skeptical to Christianity or maybe not even maybe even be opposed to it? Have they either asked about your clothing line or inquired? Ever experienced any of that?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of people that I know that may not, have the same faith I have.
Hmm.
But I think to listen to God, that right there can, like I said, can mean so many different things. People really gravitate to that. This current one here that said Jesus verse my sins is, you can tell, is really, that's more specific to someone who has that same faith, or
Hmm.
someone who believes in Jesus. Not everybody believes, so it's more specific. So I see people that say, "Oh, I like that shirt, but can you put a different logo on it?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's the logo goes with that shirt," you know. But at the same time, I think people understand, even regardless of their background or their faith. I think a lot of people are starting to acknowledge, that there's something greater. There's this need for something, and the way the world is today, again, it's just we need something higher or greater to believe in. But a lot of compliments from the listen to God every time I wear it, and everybody that gets one of those, whenever they wear it, they're like, everybody's asking me, where did I get this? What is that? What is this shirt? What is, so it gets the attention. But again, it's very subtle and simple, but it's so powerful, and that's what I enjoy. I enjoy that aspect of it. People say, where did you get that? And I said, well, I made it, that type of thing. They're always shocked and surprised, like, oh wow, this is yours. But again, I just love that interaction. I love when people say they wore this shirt and they got so many compliments, or they asked, or people were asking about it. And then it starts in conversation. If you're a person of faith, you like to share that faith as well. You're not just hold it to yourself. So it's a great conversation starter for those that do have faith as well, to just put it on your chest and to wear it out, in the world and see what happens and what conversations come from that. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I haven't got much flack as far as like people saying they don't, like negativity from it. It's all
Right.
been positive. So there's
Mm.
certain people with this particular logo kind of say, oh, that's a little extreme for me, maybe.
Right.
Um, but other than that, it's been pretty smooth.
Right. So you mentioned that people, they asked about it, where did you get it from? So if people are interested in purchasing or looking more into this, what's the easiest way to find out more about your merchandise and your brand?
The easiest way as of now is through the website. So it's antidotemerch.bigcartel.com.
Okay.
Social media, Antidote Merch, or Antidote Music with a Q at the end is my personal page. That's where you can see a lot of the merch. You can see the items, but the website is where you can get the latest and everything that's currently for sale. So I kind of do it in different drops. I don't have everything just out on the site. But if somebody wants a particular, like sort of a custom made shirt or something, they just got to reach out to me through the website, which you can drop in for, an email or social media on my social media platforms. But I'm definitely still, as I mentioned, growth. I'm trying to grow that,
Mhm.
allowing it for more people to get in touch with this and see what it is that we're doing. My YouTube channel, Antidote Music, has some videos that I've put together for the merch, sort of commercials, if you will.
Mhm.
So learning how to get it out to more people is kind of what I'm working on right now currently. But yeah, again, those are the best ways: the website and through social media.
Yeah. 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 So so you juggle all that with, being a father, a husband, another job. Looking back, what do you feel like, what's maybe the most challenging of kind of running this side, passion, hobby, business, maybe one of the most as well as, the challenge and the most rewarding? What do you feel like has been your experience?
Yeah, I think just the challenge of juggling everything, as you mentioned, being a father, being a husband, having a full-time job. I mean, those things right there take a tremendous amount of time. But finding, just finding ways to not sit still,
Mm.
that helps me. It helps me stay active and busy. As for example, tonight I have to do a bunch of shirts. I make the shirts currently myself. I'm the one that's pressing them, putting
Okay.
the logo on the shirts. I don't make the shirt, obviously, but I put the logo on the shirts. So I'm doing that myself right now. So, I just do that at night once the kids are in bed. Usually nighttime is when I can focus on this aspect of my life. Um, and it's just really time management, but that can be a struggle. It can be difficult. It's not easy to manage everything, but the passion that drives me, and then what you're saying, the success from that, or the good things that come from that, I think are for again, people that actually share that they like it, or they somebody saw their shirt and they asked them about it. Like, those are the things that drive me and keep me going, because I know it's having an impact. And I think that's ultimately what I want to do, whether
Right.
it's with my children, whether it's in my day-to-day 9 to 5, or whether it's with this clothing line. It's really to have an impact, to leave something on this earth, and to inspire other people, not just to do my 9 to 5 job, get off. Obviously there's family time, but then what's next? What can I do on top of all those things to have an impact?
Right.
Because time is short. Time is if we could always have more time, we all want that, right? But I
Right.
think utilizing the time that I have, it's a gift and a curse. There is times where it just gets difficult, just busy, a lot going on. It's a whirlwind. But then the blessings from that, from people being impacted, and maybe people seeing it and saying, maybe it brings a thought to their mind of, yeah, I need to listen to God, or I need to trust in God more.
Mhm.
Those are the things that I think are the benefit aspect of it. And I think it's all worth it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool, and a lot of that stuff resonates with me. And I think, I can feel the same about this YouTube channel. I just felt like I just want to share things that I believe is important, things that are uplifting, things that will help people. And sometimes you can kind of, when in the beginning phase of you start something new, like it's challenging, you may have doubt, you have insecurities, you may be anxious, frustrated, but even if just one or two people can even get something out of this conversation, like if it's, if it can help someone in their life, I feel like that's so inspiring and so cool. So I want to commend you, for doing this, for going after it, and trying to spread positivity. And not, I don't want to get into all the details, but because I've encountered people who may have faith and may agree with all this stuff, and people that do not have faith maybe had even a negative experience, whether it's a Christian faith or some other faith. But I like what you said, that it's a conversation starter as well. I think that's
Yeah.
one of the cool things just about things in general, and maybe more so deep topics, but to having I think in the courage and the maybe desire to at least explore these topics, right? Even if you don't necessarily come from a background that you automatically agree, but to explore it and to be open to, could your kind of preconceived notion or your already your thinking mind to be changed, with some information. So I think that's really cool. And you also kind of alluded to this earlier in how this has impacted you, and you want to impact other people. And this channel is about thinking, growing, contributing. What I like to ask all my guests is, if there's one thing you would share that you feel like this is one thing I think people should think about, and if they think about this, it'll be helpful not only to them but to people around them. So if you were to share like one thing that people should think about, what would be one piece of advice that you would give? Excuse me.
Yeah, it's heavy. That's a heavy question, man. But I mean, that's
Yeah,
why we have.
there can be a lot of things for sure.
Yeah, but I think legacy comes to mind.
Uh-huh.
Uh, why I do everything I do, as I mentioned, it's for that legacy. And the legacy for me, just to be honest, it's not about my own personal legacy. I think that might have something to do with it. That might be a little bit of the motivation. But legacy of those before me, whether it's family or people that I learned from, people that helped me come up as a young man and becoming the man I am today. Legacy of my children, things that they will do in the future, things that they will do, the people they will impact. So I think that we don't always think about that, but legacy is so important to me. Of the legacy I had from before me, the legacy that I'm building, and the legacy that's coming after me, and how those all, as the term of standing on the shoulder of giants. You continue to grow, you continue to build, you do something, you leave an impact, and then somebody else can pick up and go from there. And I think that's what life is all about, and more importantly, my faith, how that plays a huge role in that, and the impact that I leave, and the things that other people will do because of what the inspiration that I was given and what I'm passing on. I think that's something that we all should think about, as far as what is our legacy and what legacy are we building for the future, upon the legacy that we knew from before.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it. I'm excited to see you going after your passion and what you think is important, and the things that you've experienced, things you've learned, and the positive impacts you've seen so far. So I'll make sure I put all the contact information so people can, if they're interested in, check out your merch or buying some things or have more questions, that they can contact you. And Sam, I'm excited to see where this go, and we're definitely commend you for doing this. And this is also our second interview. So I might put the other interview in the link as well. We talked about cars, but we also got into some deeper things about your merchandise. And so I just thought about that. So I'll put that link down as well. So, some good old flashbacks if people want to check that out.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it too, man. The platform you got going here, keep pushing at it, man. Keep at it. But I definitely appreciate just to shine a light on what we're doing. I really appreciate that, and just everything that you're doing as well.
Absolutely, sir. Well, thank you for your time, and take care. And we'll maybe do this one more time. We'll see. Maybe it'll be another thing. Electric
Yes,
car and your merch.
there you go.
All right. All right. Take care, brother.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
All right. Bye.